What's up, everybody? This is Over the Ropes. We're going to do our Smackdown review for tonight. I'm Tyler. This right here is my buddy Court. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's going on? My name is Cortland. I've known Tyler for at least 25 years or so by now. I was born a WCW guy. Tyler got me into the WWF at the time. Now the WWE. And he's probably the only person I know who is as big of a wrestling fan as I am. So glad to get this project going with you, man.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to do the SmackDown review. We got some notes. We're going to give our thoughts, our opinions. I thought the show overall was good.
Solid.
Yeah, it was good. It had its moments, I would say. Nothing was boring. Nothing dragged too long. Interested. They just seemed to be doing a lot of title matches. We had two tonight.
I think
we have one next week.
I think that they're kind of trying to throw a lot at us, though, because I think probably with the Netflix show, a lot of new eyes, so people are trying to follow up, check out SmackDown. So I think I was just trying to catch as many eyes as they can. And
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, so let's hit some of this news first, and we'll go from there. So I've gathered some news since Monday, which was the last show that we did. And for anybody wondering, Addict's internet was out, so he didn't get to watch the shows. Internet's still out. So you'll see a variety of people, be me, Court, Addict, depending on work situations and things of that nature. All right, so first news that we have, the tag team of the Von Erichs officially signed with AEW and Ring of Honor. So,
okay, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen them wrestle. I saw a couple of their matches in TNA. I think they might have wrestled once or twice on actual AEW.
I think they did a 6-man with Dustin, right?
Yes. Yeah. I think their team's cool. I loved the Iron Claw movie. Obviously, diehard wrestling fans know the story of the Von Erichs. The only thing that I'm worried about is they made a point to say AEW Ring of Honor, which to me says they're going to be in Ring of Honor. Which is going to suck because I don't watch Ring of Honor. So,
me neither.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but
their legacy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big legacy wrestler. Randy, Cody, Ted DiBiase Jr. when he came.
Baby, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I'm always on root for them. If they actually end up doing AEW matches, I'll make sure watch. But, yeah, good for them. And I hope they're successful.
That's awesome. I didn't see that.
Yeah. Rumor has it Gail Kim is in talks for a potential Rumble return. So
that'd be neat.
That would be cool. It's been
fantastic.
A long time. Been a long time since Gail's been in WWE. So
gotta be near 20 years. Close to it, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, probably 10, 15-ish. Because I think she came back for that short stint after she left the first time. But, yeah, I mean, one of the best women's wrestler who didn't spend as much time in WWE as she should have.
I feel like she's one of those who maybe came in the wrong era. I think if she was maybe 10 years, 15 years younger than she is, she would be absolutely killing it right now. And I mean, she still will, but I think she was just a little ahead of her time. Kind of reminds me like Michelle McCool, but probably even better.
Oh, definitely better. I mean, nothing against Michelle McCool. She's great, but I love Gail Kim, yeah. And, with the potential of Jordan Grace potentially signing with WWE, her and Gail are close. They could do some cool stuff if she enjoys her time and wants to do more, Next story. This is right down Court's alley. Rumor has it that either in February or March, Malachi Black is finished up with AEW.
Let's go. I hope so. Get him out of there.
How excited are we for the potential of Aleister Black?
I would love it. I feel like he's the type of guy who thrived under Triple H, and I don't really know what the disconnect is. It's not my place to say, but things were definitely different from when he went from NXT up to the main roster, and I don't think he really maybe ever tapped his full potential. So I'd be very interested to see A, the return, and B, what do they do with the name? Does he stay Malachi? Does it go back to Aleister? I would expect he goes back to Aleister, but
I would assume
I'd
so.
be very, very excited, and I feel like he's one of those guys who his style is not going to change whether he is in one company or another. I think he remains largely the same, and I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I was talking to one of our friends in our group chat, and I told him, I said, before they made it clear that it was February, March, my first thought was, oh, imagine if he's Ray's partner next week.
Oh, that would have been neat. I didn't even think.
With Zelina,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're together all the time.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, it'd be great. I know everybody wants to just dump on AEW, and that's usually my go-to. But, it just, for whatever reason, they couldn't crack Malachi. They just only had him in... Huh?
I don't know what the disconnect is.
Yeah, they only had him in trios. He had that one storyline with Cody, and after that, it was just trios after trios after trios. So, I'd love to see him back. Obviously, it really just depends on what he wants to do.
Yeah.
But, no,
it'd be feed great. Me that entrance, too, man. I missed that entrance.
The entrance was incredible. The song was incredible.
Oh, man, I still listen to it.
Yeah, that's me with Randy or Joe Hendry.
Oh yeah, gotta be listening.
Gotta be listening to Joe Hendry. All right, so we got two other quick ones. It was put on Twitter that Nikki Bella's appearance on Raw was the most viewed and liked Twitter post with 4.2 million views and 67K likes.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Nikki.
Yeah, I mean, people were sick of the Bellas, but they're still an attraction,
Yeah, I mean, I think they've made a lot of splashes on TV and in the media, so I think that'll help bring a lot of eyes back. I don't hate it.
No. Apparently they do a podcast, and I saw a quick little few seconds of Nikki talking about coming back, and she was talking about how great it was, and obviously it was just her. Brie wasn't going to go with, Brian and AEW, but I mean, hey, she said everything was patched up and everything was good. Maybe we'll see a return in the Rumble. Maybe they could return for a tag title run or something. So,
yeah, that'd be great. I'd hear back.
Yeah.
We make a splash in the Rumble. Makes a lot of sense.
It would be. I mean, like I said, they never got to have the tag titles.
Yeah.
That would be pretty sweet. Apparently, Alexa Bliss, they have creatives working on story for her to come back, and merchandise and everything else. When Alexa comes back, do you want to see something with the Wyatt Six? Do you want to see like old Alexa Bliss? Do you want to see something new? What kind of Alexa Bliss would you want to see?
Perhaps a hot take. I don't know that many are going to agree with this. I'm kind of like over the whole Alexa and Wyatt thing. I don't think it really connected for me. I liked Alexa Bliss a lot when she was on her own, and she knocked out quite a few title reigns on her own there. I'd be totally fine to see her on her own, but I do think that if she is reconnected with the Wyatts, I have a little more faith in who's running the company now and making it all make sense. If that is the case, I hope they didn't get on, get off, get out. Like, do it, but, maybe don't keep her there too long. I'd like to see her eventually out on her own.
Yeah, I would say my favorite Lexa was just the bitchy, like, when she had the title, and it was just a raging bitch.
I'd love to heel Alexa on her own. I'm here for it.
But the one thing they could do with the Wyatt Six, because they need legitimate tag teams, is make her and Nikki a legit tag team. And combine the Alexa with Bray / the Alexa teaming up with Nikki, and make them in a legit tag team. She's obviously hasn't wrestled for a long time. It'd be a nice way to like smooth her in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Alexa's probably my favorite girl wrestler. And probably has been since she came into the company. So
really,
oh yeah,
all right.
Yep. I've always been a huge Alexa fan. I mean, it's always there's other people you like, but yeah, I'd say Alexa's probably my favorite since she's came onto the company. And the last main story, which I think I did send in the group chat when it happened, Sheamus announced he's re-signed with the company for 5 years. He was on Chris Van Fleet's podcast, and which is great. I mean, Sheamus is Sheamus is one of those people where he's so consistent. Like you're not always super excited to see what he's doing because his promos are okay, his matches are a lot of the same, but he always produces. So.
Yeah. He's super consistent, like you said. You might not be super thrilled to see him, but I feel like you're never disappointed with what you see from him. I feel like he always has really good physical matches, and that's what I feel like is something that really interests me. Kind of circling back to Alistair, I always love his matches because there's just so much physicality, and I feel like Sheamus usually has a banger, as he likes to say. So
banger.
I like to see that.
Banger.
That he's sticking around the company. I think he's a guy that some of these younger guys can really lean on to kind of coach him as we get through here.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, so that's the news. We're gonna get straight into the Smackdown review. I thought the show was good. 2 title matches. I wouldn't say they like furthered any story in a big way. But they did push stories. Even if it was a small amount, they're still pushing them. So everything was good. And nothing was drawn out with the 3 hours. Like, they made everything seamless, and it was a good show. It didn't drag or anything.
I would agree. It moved going pretty well for 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I think Triple H does great with the 3-hour shows. Frankly, I think he does better at the 3 hours than he does with the 2.
I would agree. And it's good to see more people back on. I wrote this down.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we hadn't seen A-Town down. I don't know if some got injured, if there's any correlation. But when we get these 3-hour shows, it's good to see some guys like that I feel like we hadn't seen in a little bit. And I was super, super excited to see those guys back on.
Yeah. So Triple H had said there was like an injury and sickness that messed up last week's show. And I know Braun Strowman said he's been really sick. And I think it might have been reported that one of them were either sick or had like a smaller injury that kept him off the show last week. Couple notes I had before we get into like the segment reviews. I'm a big fan of the aesthetic with the blue mat, the black and blue everything, the blue lights. Like, I know that's always been SmackDown's thing, but I feel like I don't know if it's the cameras they're using, but I feel like the blue's popping more. And I'm into the blue mat. I'm not really into the red mat on Raw, but I'm into the blue mat on SmackDown.
I was digging it. I wasn't sure if the new shirts were just going to be a Raw or a Netflix thing, but I saw that the new referee shirts carried through all 3 shows so far this week. Love those. I also saw a couple new refs I feel like I hadn't seen. Maybe I'm just slow to the draw here, but I think I saw at least 2 new refs today. So
okay, I unfortunately am not always paying attention to the refs. I saw little Nate. That's about the only one I remember. I do like the ref shirts. The ref shirts are nice. What is? I don't know if I didn't understand correctly, but when is this transfer portal actually happening? I thought it was this week that they were going to say like who was moving shows.
I'm not sure. I feel like we've just kind of seen people bouncing back and forth over the last couple weeks. I don't know that they ever really gave us a real time it started or ended. I think
Right.
maybe we'll
And
just
they
see how it and if someone sticks.
Yeah, and they haven't like actually moved anybody.
Right.
So I'm, last on Raw they made it seem like Bailey was changing shows, but obviously tonight she wins the number one
Yeah.
contender shot. So it's like, what is going? They said NXT was a part of it, but they haven't seen anybody from NXT. So I'm
Yeah.
like, when is this thing supposed to take place? you know?
Yeah. Maybe again it's kind of an odd week with the Netflix debut, and I sort of feel like next week we're back to regularly scheduled program, and maybe some of these stories will kind of get back into swing of things now that the holiday's over and this big debut is over.
Yeah, maybe. Now, my one big gripe, I should say. I don't know why they did this, but why the hell did they move Graves just to NXT?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's a preference or what happened, or if they feel like they need help. I think Big Joseph's great personally. Um,
Yes.
I don't want to say much about Booker because I don't love it, but it is what it is. But I love Graves. It sounded like he was really excited though, so I wonder Graves that is. So I wonder if it was personal preference.
Yeah,
Um,
it's confusing me because obviously McAfee and Cole are great together
on
on Raw. I hated not Graves. I hated Vic Joseph when they moved him up initially because I wasn't watching 205 or anything. And I was like, who is this dude? But I listened to Graves' podcast every week, and Vic started doing that with him. Instantly fell in love with the dude. Now I love him on NXT. So, and
that's another reason why is their buddies.
they are buddies. I mean, him and Book have a good chemistry. Great chemistry, frankly. Yeah, they're funny together. And Barrett and Tessitore have good chemistry. I don't know. Corey's, in my opinion, one of the best they have. So it's weird that he got moved backwards. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That bugged me. I've been a Corey Graves fan forever. Even when he was a wrestler in NXT, he was when they first started doing NXT, he was my guy before he got injured. So maybe yeah, with Pac.
Right? Yeah, Neville at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was Graves and Neville. I think they lost it to the Ascension.
I was gonna say the Ascension as well, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna bang up.
All right, so segment 1, Paul Heyman comes out. Oh, okay. Paul Heyman comes out, announces Roman Reigns for the Rumble. Calls out Cody, tells him to his face he's going to win the Rumble. He's going to challenge Cody for the belt. Ask Cody what he'd like to talk about. Before Cody can answer, out comes Kevin Owens. They start fighting to the crowd. Jacob and Tamatonga come out, corner him. Jimmy comes out, makes the save. Until they get the upper hand on Jimmy. They beat him down until Cody comes out, has his back, runs them off. I mean, you can't go wrong with the segment with Paul Heyman and Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, I do have a little Easter egg in here. Something I'm kind of maybe wishful thinking.
Okay.
Before I get into that, I'm just curious. Like, what do you think about Roman in the Rumble? What do you expect from this announcement? Like, how do you see Roman's appearance in the Rumble going? Because I have a pretty good idea how this is going to go.
I mean, Drew tosses him out, right?
You think Drew?
I mean,
Mr. Heyman owes someone a favor.
that is true. That is true.
And that's the first thing I thought of when he announced Roman, because I'm still, I know we were talking a lot during the Netflix show.
Mm-hmm.
I was convinced the entire time Heyman is turning on Roman here. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And this is one thing, again, I love about the Triple H era, and something I might enjoy a little bit more about the WWE is I feel like these stories are taking their time.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're slowly planting these seeds here. But as soon as he announced Roman, I'm telling you, for me, the favor is going to be Punk's going to win that Rumble. Something's going to happen to Roman here. Favor's getting cashed in. That's my.
Oh. I feel like it's Cena, right?
I love it. Don't get me wrong, but I think Cena's going to win the Elimination Chamber. Maybe
He might. He might. My thought is Cena's done after this. Austin right now is the only person to win 3. If they're gonna have Cena get the record for the most WWE championships, why not also have him tie Austin with 3?
we'll see. Yeah,
Roman could win. I was convinced Solo was gonna win because of Drew. So on Monday.
Yep.
I mean, here's the thing. Jacob's incredible. Jacob's gonna be a star. I love Tamatonga. I would literally, when there was a New Japan pay-per-view, make sure I watched whatever the Gorillas of Destiny did and what Okada did, people like that. So
I was super excited to come over.
Oh, man. Yeah, as long as Tungaloa could get healthy.
Yeah, it's a character, that one.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And then they come back from commercial break. They're trying to kick I guess for now, there's still the Bad Bloodline out of the building. LA Knight comes out of nowhere, grabs Jacob, tosses his ass out the building, and only the way LA Knight could do.
Love the line he dropped. He didn't use his inside voice, so I put his ass outside. I got a title to win. Yeah. That was fantastic.
Yeah. Love me some LA Knight. I told Addict on the first show we did, I said he is the most non-self-aware character in WWE. When they put him up against Bray, nothing Bray said to him mattered. It just bounces right off him because he has no self-awareness whatsoever. So, but LA Knight, I mean, here's the thing. They telegraphed what was going to happen. You knew as soon as he touched Jacob, you were like, oh...
coming back.
Yeah, here we go. First match of the night, we have the Women's U.S. Championship rematch. Michin versus Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green gets the win with a reversal roll-up and pulling the tights. After the match, Michin tried to get her hands on Chelsea Green, and Piper attacks.
Yeah.
What was your...
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, what was your thoughts on the match?
Good to see Chelsea get a successful defense. That was her first defense, I think I heard them say.
Yep.
I think they both looked fine. A couple moves from each of them I really liked. I really liked the elevated flatliner I saw from Chelsea. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
And Michin had this really good kick combo. Kind of reminded me of Finn Balor a little bit. She had this like spinning back kick into a Pele kick. I thought that was great. I think Michin's a really fantastic wrestler. She's someone I think is really thriving from this 3 hours. I'm glad she's on her own. I am so glad she is not with the Bullet Club, the OC, group. I'm very glad she's on her own. Not that there's anything wrong with them. I'm glad she's in her own spotlight. I'm looking for maybe a little more character to her because she's a great wrestler.
Right.
I need a reason to give a shit about her other than she's a great wrestler. And I think that a lot of times when people attach to someone, it's as much the emotional connection. So I'm just dying for that, and I think that when we find that, I think she'll win that belt sometime this year. So maybe this isn't the end with these two. I'm excited to see them run them back. For now, though, I'm glad to see a good Chelsea run. I'd like to see Chelsea carry this into WrestleMania and lose it there.
Yeah. So I think it was in this match. I forgot to write it down in my notes, but it was either this match or the Fatal 4-Way where somebody was on the ropes and somebody like slid under them into a German suplex into the ring as they... What was that?
Shinsuke.
Oh, was that what it was? Was that Shinsuke? Okay, never mind then. I'll talk about that then because that move stuck out. I love Chelsea Green. WWE put out a video on Twitter I saw. Apparently, this is the same venue where Chelsea Green was an extra character I think with Brie
The
and
Bellas.
yeah, and they kept calling her character's name, and they're like, "Don't worry, Bree's not here." And Chelsea Green's like, "What are you guys talking about?" Like, yeah, that video made me laugh. I was like, "That's the stuff you wouldn't get if Vince was still there." What?
Callback.
Yeah. Chelsea's great. She should hold the belt.
Cool.
She should hold the belt till Mania. She's even when they were only on 2 hours and she wasn't getting much TV time, she makes the most out of her TV time.
I think she's one of the best at making the most out of every second she gets.
Yeah, for sure. We talked about earlier of doing like we're gonna do like a predicting WrestleMania, or not predicting what we would have WrestleMania be. Little hint. I think my Chelsea Green match might be a singles match against somebody returning, maybe a debut of some kind. Maybe somebody who's already wrestled in NXT that still works in another company for like a month.
All right.
So
I'm excited for that show down the road.
Yeah. And like I said, Chelsea's great. Her and Piper's chemistry's off the chain. And you're right, Michin's an incredible wrestler. I liked her with the OC just because it gave her something. Obviously, Carl Anderson's injured, but since they're injured, they're doing their own thing. Give her some story. Give her some character development. And
a couple of vignettes. I just want to know like a little bit more about her.
Yeah, for sure. So after that match, we have all 4 teams arguing about who should be next for the tag titles. Motor City Machine Guns, Los Garza, Pretty Deadly, and then Waller and Theory come in. And Pierce says, "All right, we'll do Pretty Deadly, Los Garza, Motor City Machine Guns, Theory, and Waller. All have matches. Then you guys will wrestle each other next week." I love me some Grayson Waller. I can watch Waller all day. He, out of everybody, is gonna be the next Miz.
Yeah, I think that's a great comparison. He is probably, in my opinion, the most hateable male. He's certainly top 3.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people hate Dom. I think Dom's awesome, honestly. Dom entertains me to no end. I think the only person, for me anyways, that's near the hateability level of Grayson Waller is Logan Paul. I think that you know what though? They're doing great at their job because I can't stand either of these freaking guys. But yeah, no, he does. He knocks it out of the park. It was good to see him back.
Yeah, he's great. You were a WCW guy, obviously. You said that earlier. Dom, he's slimy. He really is the perfect mix of Eddie and Filthy Animals Rey Mysterio. Because nobody remembers Filthy Animals Rey, but he had that in him. He had that in him. The baggy pants, the little horns, riding on Conan's back, Yeah.
It's a good callback.
But unfortunately, he's always so likable, so it's good that he has that Eddie mix in there where he can just be slimy.
Not wait for them to turn him back.
Oh, yeah. Even on Raw, where he's trying to hug Rhea because she turns around like, "Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, take me back." Nah, get out of here with all that. So then we have the second match of the night, Los Garza versus Pretty Deadly. Los Garza is definitely on the show now. That's 3 hours. I'm sure we'll see more Santos too, because the whole team is great. Elektra, she's getting better every time she gets in the ring. I love me some Pretty Deadly. I'm sure they annoy the hell out of people, but I love those characters. If you can annoy everyone, just give me more. Like, I love that they're on TV.
They remind me a lot of Chelsea. I feel like they don't have to be in a match to entertain you and to make a the most of their time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was good to see him back in the ring. I didn't write a ton about this match, but I did write down two teams that I wish we saw more of, and I'm excited to see more of now that we're at 3 hours. And I am beyond thankful to see Los Garza get a win. I feel like those are two cats I feel like I have more vested interest in maybe than I think a lot of people do. I would really like to see them string together some wins. I've always really, really, really liked Garza when he was doing his own thing. I think he had the cruiserweight title maybe for a little bit, but
Yeah.
in NXT, I was all about him, and I think that finisher is nasty, man. I love the wing clipper, and I'm glad to see them together, and I'd like to see them,
Yeah.
get a push in the tag title ranks. I have personally more interest in them than in Santos, so I would really like to see them be a focal point here in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, Berto got the win over Price with their tag team move, which is, I guess, called the NTY. I mean, how many times have you seen them tag? So, you're right. Angel's cruiserweight title run was great. He used to rip the pants off. He proposed to his girlfriend.
I forgot the pants. That was a big thing.
Yeah, he was awesome. I mean, Berto's never really gotten to show any real character, but when he first started and was a good guy, I was into him. I already said I love Pretty Deadly. They're hilarious. I will say, unlike Chelsea, they can get a little the whole play thing kind of ran into the ground a little bit, and I was like, okay, well, let's see something else, but yeah, they're great. They're hilarious. They get the most with their time. You said this earlier about WWE under Triple H doing long stories. The one thing I wanted to say, because I do lean more positive than negative. So if there's anything that's negative, I think it's good for me to point it out. But Triple H does good with long stories, but there's some that just drag too long. Rhea and Liv, Priest and Finn. I mean, Cody and KO's great right now, but give it a couple more months and that's going to get there. So he does a good job of creating stories, but he needs to stop them way before he does.
Hopefully he'll find that sweet spot. I think it's important to remember we're still a little on the greener side of this being really, really just him. I think I would agree on the Finn and Priest one.
Mm-hmm.
I think Liv and Rhea just kind of got a little snake bitten because there's a lot of injuries in that feud right there.
A lot of injuries.
But I think that really took the wind out of the sails of that. And I think that kind of slowed both of those feuds down a little bit. But on the plus side, I mean, spoiler alert, but I think maybe, that leads to Finn's Mania match. We'll see. Got a few ideas for Finn. We'll see when we get to that show. But
yeah. They ruined one of my Mania matches because if it was me, I would have kept the belt on Liv, and I was eyeing Rhea and Dom at WrestleMania. So after that, we get the U.S. title match with LA Knight and Shinsuke. As I mentioned earlier, that move where Shinsuke slid under the bottom rope, German suplexed LA Knight while he was on the ropes. I was like, Jesus. What a move, man. LA Knight gets jumped by the Bloodline. Cody and Jimmy come out, make the save. Cody asks for a tag title match. They make it for the main event. I love this U.S. title scene between LA Knight, Shinsuke, Andrade, Santos, Carmelo. They're all great. They all wrestle each other. They all get wins. What did you think of this match?
I thought it was pretty solid. One thing I wrote down, I was curious if LA was ever going to go back to that leaping superplex move. Seemed like a lot of people in the good old wrestling community here were kind of poo-pooing that. He kind of butchered it a couple times, but it was good to see he had the confidence to pull it out again, and he nailed it tonight.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty obvious Jacob was going to sabotage this one.
100%.
So it looks like we might be heading towards a Maybe a Jacob Fatu and LA Knight feud. But who knows? I think another thing that they're doing great right now is there's a lot of interweaving.
Yes.
With feuds. I feel like there's not a lot of people who only have one feud going. There's a lot of people with layers.
Yeah.
Like Drew
Yeah.
McIntyre. I think if Drew McIntyre is involved with like several storylines, there's
Yeah.
so many people.
Yep.
I want to rip his head off, and vice versa. So I'm kind of curious what goes on here, but I'm interested to see where LA is headed, and I'm also like, how long do we have babyface LA Knight? I feel like we might have a slow burn into a heel turn here. I think that they waited too long to capitalize on him, and I don't know why, but I feel like there's this like sour grapes thing going on with him. So I'm interested to see where that goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be hard to turn him. I heard so many people after the Roman loss talk about like, oh, can he sustain this? Everyone thought he was gonna wrestle Logan at Mania, ended up being AJ, and everybody's like, oh, is he gonna be able to sustain this? He still gets the biggest pops of the night.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and people just love him because he's so damn entertaining. He talks like he's 120 years old. Like, I would like in this they might be putting Jacob in this U.S. title group. Somebody else I'd like to see now that they're at 3 hours is throw Apollo in there. Get Apollo in these matches with Andrade and Santos and LA Knight.
Don't get me started. I could do a whole fucking show on Apollo Crews, man. What have we been doing with this guy? He's been in the company for like a decade. I mean, that dude. You know what JBL used to say about Randy Orton? If you could build a superstar from the ground up, Apollo Crews, man. He's another one. I don't get the disconnect. I agree. Feed me more Apollo. I'm glad he's at least getting TV time.
Yes.
He's been on regularly for at least a month, if not more.
Yeah.
Feed me more Apollo.
I have a problem with guys like this. We're kind of like mid-Carter, like bigger guys for some reason. Like Apollo never really did much for me. Rusev didn't do much for me. Sheamus when he first started. Like these like bigger mid-Carter guys. I don't know why. They just don't do a whole lot for me. And, like, Apollo's great. But, like, I've never been like, oh, man, like, I wish I saw more Apollo. It's just like, oh, cool, Apollo's in the match. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the best thing he did was him and Bobby Lashley. It wasn't long, but that was fun. That was probably the time I enjoyed Apollo the most.
I love his skill set. I love his look. I think we can get a little
so
more
athletic. Oh, for sure, they definitely can. Then they have a recap of Tiffy winning the belt last week, which was so good. They had me all over the place. I've been watching it with Attic because he's new and trying to explain stuff during the show, and he texted me after the Over the Rope show we did, and he goes, during that women's title Money in the Bank cash, and he goes, I understood you wrestling fans a little bit more, just with the, oh, she is, she's not, oh, she did, like.
Yeah, there was a lot of back and forth. There was a emotional roller coaster there.
Yes, yeah. And yeah, no, that was a good time last week. So then we get into the next match, which is Motor City Machine Guns and A-Town Down Under. Motor City Machine Guns get the win with Shelley Penn and Theory with their Skull and Bones. You knew as soon as they signed they're going to be great. They are great. They've been great for the last 20 years.
They've been great everywhere they go.
Everywhere, yeah. I remember I was big into TNA, like 05, 06, 07. I loved TNA. And Shelley was with Kevin Nash when he was X Division champion. And I was like...
I hate Kevin Nash.
And Big Sexy? What?
I'm a Scott Hall guy. Sorry, Mom. I fucking cannot see Kevin Nash.
And Shelley was so entertaining. And Saban was, a X Division star on his own. When they put them together, I was like, oh, wow, like, these two on their own are great. And, yeah, I mean, they've just been awesome. I watched all of it when Saban won the TNA World title. I tried to watch as much as I could when Shelley won it. Both of them are incredible. So, Theory. Not Siri. Theory. I don't know what to do with him. The best Austin Theory was Austin Theory in the way. That was the best he was,
Yep.
He doesn't do a whole lot. I don't know what to do with him. Yeah.
You were saying you're a big Waller guy. I'm a Theory guy.
Love Waller. I mean, here's the thing with Theory. When he was U.S. champ, they didn't do anything with him. They essentially punked him right out as soon as Vince got out. They were like, oh, Vince loves you. You remember they had the segment with the bloodline, and they literally were pointing and laughing at him in the ring.
Yeah.
Him and Waller have been a good team, but they've been doing this like potential breakup thing since WrestleMania. Another story that's dragged out way too long.
Yeah, I think they're kind of slowly planting their seeds. I hope this is something we see fall apart. I would say probably the Rumble. I think that every tag match they've been in for the last couple months, it seems like one of them hits the other and costs the other, and it happens again tonight. I mean, that's how this match ends. I think it was Theory got knocked into Waller this time. I remember right.
Theory got pinned. So I think
but he got knocked into him at one point.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Waller.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get Theory tossing Waller out of the Rumble, and I think we're gonna get babyface Austin Theory here in 2025 because they got to split these two up. They've been entertaining. They're great at what they do, but I think Theory needs a change. I think he's going baby, and
he needs to.
Spoiler alert! I think that's a Mania match. Is those two?
It should be. I've heard a lot of people who've seen him on the Indies. Apparently, he was a big baby face on the Indies in Progress. So they should try it. They haven't really tried it in WWE. Like you said, for me, the best Theory was when he was with The Way, and he was kind of this, like, Biff Tandem, like, brainless, like, duh, So he should go.
Yeah, feed me babyface Theory.
Yeah, and Waller's incredible as a heel. Let them go at it and see where they go from there. After the match, you see DIY watching the match in the monitors. Pretty Deadly confronts them for not helping them this week after helping them last week. Apollo comes in, pretty much calls Pretty Deadly stupid. A lot of people will be getting called stupid in the show this week. A lot of stupid. And then Candace tells Nia that Tiff's heading to the ring. So, obviously, that was next. Like you said, at least Apollo's getting on TV. Well, next step will be getting him into the ring. For me personally, the next person that needs to get on TV is Blair Davenport.
Yeah, she we were talking about this in the group chat a little while ago when the Iron Survivor Challenge we were trying to talk about who won last year. I don't think anyone in the world remembered that she won last year.
No, I think you said that, and I was like, "There's no way." And then I had to look it up and was like, "Oh God."
Yeah, I might be the only person who fucking remembers that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what's wrong, but I mean, we saw a ton of her on the Indies and outside of WWE, and I think it's a matter of time. I think she was in one of these tournament matches.
Yeah, she was in the U.S. title tournament. Yep.
I was hoping that was going to be a springboard for her, but yeah, I would like to see some more of her going forward.
Yeah, I think they'll get, they'll have the women's U.S. title, have multiple people, kind of like the men's. I'm assuming she'll be wrapped up in that. Her, Meechin, Chelsea Green, Maybe they move a girl over to maybe somebody up from NXT, something like that. But she's
Roxanne's on her way anytime.
Yeah. If it was me, and I said this to one of our buddies the other day, I would not move Roxanne up as a singles wrestler. If you're going to move Roxanne up, move her and Cora up as a tag team.
Tag them? Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I don't like Roxanne on the mic yet, so I'm actually cool with that. And I think Cora can talk. So
Cora can talk, and Roxanne's definitely better in the ring. But, they're best friends. They're great together. And they're both so much smaller than the rest of the girls. Even Alexa, I think Alexa probably looks big next to them. So
I am worried about that with Roxanne, man. She's
so small. Get them in the team, get them tagging, trying to get used to just the size of some of these girls that they're going to be wrestling. And just again, because they're, especially Roxanne, so small. So if it was me, I'd move them up as a tag team. And again, WWE needs more actual tag teams. So,
like Hayden and Casey and Ella Dawn and Alba. I love those two.
They're great. They're great.
Bonus.
Since they're re-signing a bunch of people, there is a women's tag team that would be wonderful to re-sign. Who's that? Huh?
Bellas?
No. I mean them too, but no. One of them.
What are you talking about?
One of them was training with Charlotte recently. The Iconics.
Dude, oh man, that just gave me cold chills. WrestleMania 35, I think I was the loudest reactor to them winning. I lost my fucking marbles, and then everyone around me was just like, who is this dude? And I'm the biggest Peyton Royce fan I know. That's who.
Yeah, she was.
Okay.
She's been training with Charlotte.
Yes.
So, and
love that. I love the Iconics.
I watched the Shawn Spears interview with Chris Van Fleet, which can I say, his interviews are incredible. They're so good. And Shawn Spears said she watches more wrestling than he does. And she's still super into it. She wants to get back in the ring. I think she just had a second baby.
She did, yeah.
Yeah, so
she's one of my all-time favorite women's wrestlers. I would love that.
Yeah, she's great. They're both great. They're hilarious. So after coming back from the commercial, Byron interviews Tiffany. She says her and Nia were never friends. She used her. Said Nia thought she was stupid, but clearly Nia's the stupid one. Pretty much. It's hard because you can see they're trying to keep her bad. They're trying to keep her heel. And I don't know if people are going to accept it. She was getting no boos.
Yeah, she's over like Rover. She's super popular, so.
Yeah. Nia comes out, calls Tiffany an ungrateful little shit, and says she could kill her.
That was great.
I popped for that. I jumped up out of my chair laughing. I thought that was hilarious. Bailey comes out, calls Ding Dong, calls both Nia and Tiffany stupid. She said since Tiffany helped Nia beat her, that she thinks she should get the next title shot. Out comes Naomi. You saw this one coming. Comes out, says she was going to beat Nia if it wasn't Tiffany, so she's next. All four of them break into a brawl because Bianca and Nia are getting in each other's faces. So Nick Aldis comes out, makes a fatal four-way for a number one contender match. Oh, yeah. Listen, we're talking about people getting back in the ring. We need a new Smackdown GM so we can get Nick Aldis into the ring.
I'm dying for that moment. What do you think they used it on? Cody, there's a story with Cody. But, the way things have been trending, man, KO.
Could be KO.
Pushing every button.
Could be KO. Could be Drew down the line if Drew does move over to SmackDown.
I would love that.
I don't know. All I know is he's too young to not be still wrestling, and he's too good of a wrestler. Like, they need to get him in the ring. Get Eazy-E back as GM. Give me some Eric Bischoff on TV or something. Like, I don't care. Get Nick Aldis wrestling again. So,
I love that.
So next we have this number one contender for the women's championship. Good match. Bayley ends up winning, pinning Naomi with the rose plant. Candice made Bianca accidentally hit Naomi with their hair. Who first? Nia, Bianca go tumbling out of the ring together. Bayley hits the rose plant. 1, 2, 3. So we got Bayley versus Tiffany. Who do you think took out Jade?
I think all signs are pointing to Naomi. I think that the week it happened, I had a few people in mind, whether it was someone returning. I think a name I saw thrown around was Charlotte. Not that I think it made a lot of sense. I think a lot of things make Naomi make sense, but I have a hard time picturing Naomi as a heel. I don't know that she's ever played a heel, but man, with that whole hair whip, it's totally something. That's another one where I think they've been slowly planting seeds with this, and I think we're going to start to see some dissension with Naomi and Bianca, which, and we were seeing that with Bianca and Jade. So I think I'm excited to see where this goes. Who do you think it was?
Like you said, all points signed to Naomi. And frankly, what I'm about to say, you can also say about Naomi. But I think if they're smart, it's Bianca. Bianca was great as a heel in NXT. She was awesome. She was a heel her whole time in NXT.
Yeah. Man, I didn't even think about that.
They need to change her up. They need to change the Street Profits up. Put them all together. Honestly, if it was her, or her and Naomi together even, because frankly, Naomi could get turned to a heel. They both need a character change.
That's great. I don't like using the word stale, but Bianca's stale, man. I love that. All right.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Right now Naomi's doing the I'm happy to be back, and that character never works. Never works. I love both of them. Naomi and Bianca are both great, but both of them need some kind of character change. Have it be Bianca, and then Naomi goes, you know what? Who cares? We're tag champs. Screw her. And then they go off together as a bad guy team or something, That's what I would do. Have the Street Profits come back as bad guys. And then all of them have whole new characters that we haven't seen.
I think they've been kind of teasing the Street Profits as bad guys, so I can get down with that. I like that a lot. A lot.
Thank you. We come back from commercial. Jimmy and Cody are talking about getting ready for their match. Carmelo comes in, tries to get all big with Jimmy. Jimmy puts him in his place. I know I said I'm much more of a positive person when it comes to wrestling, especially with WWE. But I will always point out something that I don't like or I'm worried about. And I always give stuff time. But I just don't understand what they're doing with Carmelo right now. Because it's not much. And he's too damn talented to not do much with.
I didn't write down a lot of notes about some of these in-between segments, but I wrote down... Let me circle back to it. I wrote... What the hell are we doing with Carmelo? He looked like a dummy. And, I feel like all these backstage segments and a lot of segments we're seeing with Nick Aldis, just he looks like a petulant, whiny child, and he just looks like an idiot. And, same thing, I'm trying to play the long game. I'm hoping it's leading to something, but, it just looks like a punk. And you got to remember, he was the number one pick in this whole draft thing we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, all he's done is lose and look like an idiot. all year.
Look at the difference between him and Braun Breaker. You know, they came up together. They were headlining Stand and Deliver against each other, and they're just two way different paths. Braun's already a star, and Carmelo, like you said, on the daily looks like a dummy. Like, what are you doing, dude?
Great wrestler. He's been both a good baby. I think he's better as a bad guy. I think he's really good at being an arrogant douche.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. This isn't working, and I can't. I'm super intrigued to see if they do anything again with Trick when and if Trick comes up.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had heard this theory somewhere else, but like, say Trick is another first round pick, and that leads to some animosity between the two, and maybe they run it back again. Who knows? But all I know is something needs to change with Carmelo because this ain't working for me.
What I would do is have, whenever they're going to do these announcements of like the changing of shows, is have Trick come up to SmackDown and then have Carmelo instantly move to Raw because he doesn't want to be, because he remembers what happened last time him and Trick were together, sort of. So after that, we get matches for next week. We got Bayley Tiffany for the Women's Championship. We have Motor City Machine Guns versus Los Garzas and Solo's return. My one big note is these moving graphics are sweet. I love these graphics. Any moving graphics.
Yep.
The ones they did for Sheamus and Kaiser on Raw were mind-blowing. Where they were like full body walking out. I was like, whoa, dude.
Yeah. Takes me back to like SummerSlam 02. That's like way back. That's what reminds me of, I don't remember what year, but like Jericho is one of the moving graphics that's like just stuck in my head from forever ago.
SummerSlam 02, one of my all-time favorite pay-per-views. Triple H and Shawn's street fight. Mm-hmm.
I remember.
Yeah,
I know
you. Yeah, you do. And then we got the main event: Cody and Jimmy versus Jacob and Tamatonga. Jacob and Tamatonga do the whole talking shit from the back coming out, which is so cool. One of the cool things Triple H does, the following them through Gorilla out to the ring. I've been into that since day one. Yeah. Match was good. KO comes out, attacks Cody. They fight to the back. Jacob pins Jimmy with his moonsault. And then Cody and KO come fighting out. Cody puts him coming out to ringside. Cody puts him and KO through a table. That's how the show ends, with both of them laying down. The match was good. All four of them are hell of wrestlers.
Yeah. I think the bad guy, the new bloodline, they desperately needed a win. I feel like they don't rack up enough wins.
Yeah.
So I desperately need a W, and I think kind of makes sense. You get KO to pull Cody out, and it kind of tips the tables against Jimmy, and it made a lot of sense. It was kind of a necessary evil that we needed. So
yeah,
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, no, they definitely needed the win. It was good to see them get the win. We'll see what happens next week. Jacob did the solo "I love you" thing still, so
yeah.
So
was there? Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say. So it doesn't seem like there's any like negativity in the fact of Solo losing.
I'm interested to see where we go. If there's any dissension, if Solo's the leader of that pack, or if Jacob goes toe-to-toe. Again, someone else that can go, a couple different directions. It looks like he's going to feud with LA maybe, but just see what happens. If anything happens with Solo and Jacob. But, you want to talk about someone who needs a win, man. Solo needs to go on a rampage in 2025. I think that dude won like 3 matches last year.
Yeah.
Bloodline like that never added up for me.
Well, I think that was I'm going to give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt here. I think that was supposed to be part of his story because they hounded on the fact that he never earned the Ulafala. And I think the fact that he wasn't winning was part of the story of him being a pretender. And because if he was just killing everybody, it's like, okay, who cares if he took it? Like, he's murdering everybody, and Roman hasn't been around, So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say him losing was to add into the idea that he was a pretender who didn't deserve it.
I can get down with that.
Yeah. But like I said, overall, the whole show was good. I'm not going to say Raw flew by. But I wasn't bored. I wasn't looking at the clock. Came to main event. I was like, all right, cool. Good show. Yeah.
Was there anything about that last segment you didn't like? It did have something in the very end that stood out to me big time.
No, go ahead. What is it?
Joe Tessitore's reaction to KO and Cody going through the table was so nonchalant that if I was standing in the next room and just listening, I would have thought he hit a simple suplex in the middle of the ring. He was just like, there's just nothing. I don't know if they're just like, yep, it's the end of the show, or I don't know. But that bothered me. Like, you check out those replays. KO could have broke his arm real easy. I mean, that's a big spot, you know, and so just kind of blew it off. So
I mean.
Of the show.
He's been good, but I think that he needs to get up a little bit more for some of those bigger moments. He actually, you did remind me of something in the Mia Yim and Chelsea Green match. If I was Mia Yim, I would be not pissed, but annoyed with how many times he brought up that she's had like 4 title matches and lost them all. Like, he hounded that point over and over and over. And it's like, one thing if she was planned on winning, like, okay, that would make sense. But where she lost, it's like, dude, come on, what are we doing? Like, So that one did bother me. But yeah, man, no, the show was good. I enjoyed it. And I think that's it for SmackDown this week. It was a good show.
I'll cheer you up, brother.
Yeah. So, like I said, going forward, this is a new channel. I work, Court works.
Opposite schedules.
Very opposite schedules. Addict. Yeah. He does YouTube full time. He has a lot of video game channels and shows and podcasts. But Cord and I are new at this. We're gonna figure it out as we go. Plan right. Yeah, bear with us. The plan. I know I said we were gonna do AEW this week. It ended up not happening. So we're gonna try to get in Raw, SmackDown, AEW. We're going to try to do some NXT shows here and there. Later on, we don't want to overwhelm ourselves with too much right away, but eventually we're going to hit all the shows except for Collision. I ain't watching Collision. I'm sorry. It just ain't happening.
Fine with that, brother. Watch Collision here.
Yeah. I said it before, but we're going to try to live stream on YouTube the pay-per-views and some of the bigger shows. Court works on Saturday, so he'll probably come in later. Yeah. If you'll get me live for Mania, I request Mania off every year.
Nice. But beyond that, unfortunately, you're not going to get me until about 9:30 Eastern on most of these. So.
Exactly. So,
catch me for matches.
Yeah, so, we're figuring out as we go. We're all growing together, and it's going to look better, it's going to look nicer, and it's going to be smoother the more we do this. So this is it for this week. We'll see you all Tuesday afternoon for our Raw review. And until then, everybody have a good night. Got anything to say?
Thanks for having me, man. I look forward to doing this a lot more with you, brother.
All right, brother. Peace.
Love and happiness.